Hey guys, welcome back. This is our vlog of Costa Rica. We're sitting here in Santa Teresa and we're going to catch up on what it took to get here and our first 3 days here.
Yeah, so we were in the city of Jaco, which is on the west coast of Costa Rica, but our goal was to get to Santa Teresa, which is the peninsula, the Nicoya Peninsula, all the way on the west coast of the peninsula. So the locals told us it would be about 5.5 hours to get there. So we woke up early and the first thing that we did was go to the bank so we could exchange our money and make sure that we were all good and had our bus fare for the day. So it was good that we got there right when the bank opened at 8:30 because we were there for an hour and a half waiting in line just to do our 5 seconds of money exchange. So if you're ever traveling in Jaco, go to the bank early in the morning if you're gonna exchange your money.
Yeah. Just so you know, they do have a lot of respect for elders and women with babies. So the women with babies and elders, there was a total of 3 tellers and they took up 2 tellers.
Yeah.
So that's why it took so long. The bank was full, packed of people, but the people who were elderly and had babies or pregnant could take care of their business first and leave, which makes sense. It just kind of backed everything up and that's why it took so long.
Yeah, so after that we were exhausted, so we just wanted to get our smoothies, so we went to our local smoothie shop. And then we got ourselves packed up and headed to the bus stop.
And then it's so hot carrying not even that much luggage, but just it's a lot of luggage to carry.
That's where we took the bus, the first bus from Jaco to Punta Arenas. We made it on the bus. Which is all the way up across from the bottom of the peninsula. And that's where we stopped, got onto a taxi, took the taxi to the ferry. And that's where our ferry ride began.
Yeah.
The ferry was about an hour and a half ride. So an hour and 15 minutes actually. So it takes you right across from the west coast to the east coast of the peninsula in this little city called, was called Paqueta. So we got to Paqueta and it was an hour and 20 minutes. We made it to Paqueta!
We're here. Now we have another 2 buses and a cab.
Just to note on like what this travel cost was, it was about $2 and about $2 each for us to get on the first bus. And then once we got to the bus, the taxi was 2,000 colones, which is about $2.25. And then you have to pay to go to the bathroom if you're waiting in line for the ferry. So that cost us 1,000 colones, which is about $1.25-ish. And then we got some rice and beans there, which was 2,800 colones, which was about $4. The ferry ride, it was amazing. You could see all of the coastline. AC in the middle, or you could go on the top and watch the views, or you could be on the bottom where the cars were. So it was a huge ferry, definitely bigger than what I was expecting, but it's very convenient because if you would have had to drive all the way up the coast and then down into the peninsula, that itself would have been like a 6-hour circle from that same exact distance that took an hour and a half. So I understand why people would rather take the ferry instead of drive. But once we landed in Paqueta, then we had to rush off of the ferry. Well, actually, you're supposed to rush off of the ferry, but we took our sweet time. We're like, why are these people rushing?
You look cute.
They're just gonna wait in line to get off the ferry. So we were the last people to get off. And then we realized why everybody was rushing, because there was a bus and there's only 2 buses. The first one was completely filled. The second one was also completely filled, but the guy allowed us to squeeze on. So we had this hour-long bus ride holding on to the thing, stuffed into a bus with so many people. All the seats were taken and the entire middle row was full of people standing because there was no other bus coming to pick us up from the ferry. Crazy. Well, how was that for you?
Yeah, that bus ride was not too bad. Again, it's another type of thing where you gotta pretty much use Google Maps and just track where you are and know where you're getting off, because as soon as we got off our bus, we immediately loaded up onto more of a local bus that took us directly to Santa Teresa.
Just made it off of our bus. We're in Cobana, heading to Santa Teresa now.
And that bus didn't have anywhere for us to store our luggage, so we were sitting with our luggage down like in our feet wells. And we were just surrounded by our luggage while everyone else was pretty much traveling on that bus from work and just between wherever they had to go. So we got dropped off in Cobana, and from Cobana we went to Santa Teresa, and it gets dark here around maybe like 6:15, 6:30. So it was dark when we showed up, and our host, actually, of this Airbnb that we're in right now, told us where to go, and so you could pull the line and you get dropped off exactly where you need.
We finally made it.
After about 8 hours.
Yeah, 8 hours of travel.
8 hours of straight travel.
This is what happens when you take public transportation.
And you don't travel luxury and bougie. You just travel the cheap way. And
But the whole cost was $26 for the both of us to travel that 8 hours.
with food
Yeah, with food included.
and a bathroom break.
Yeah.
And our host happened to come riding down the mountain on his dirt bike as soon as we arrived, and he took our luggage and brought it up one by one as we started to hike up an extremely steep, muddy, wet hill.
Yeah.
Mountainside, pretty much.
Yeah. So the Airbnb that we're at, it's elevated up in the mountain so that we can have coastal views. And be away from the street noise. So because of that, we have to take a super steep hike up that's about 400 meters. About 200, or I would say like 300 meters of it is unpaved, and then the rest of it is paved. So we're slipping up the mountain, especially because it was our first time hiking up it, so it was definitely hard to get up here.
Yeah.
Tell us what we have to go down.
To go down 400 meters to get down to the main street.
Yeah, we didn't know where it ended, when it was gonna end. It was dark. We couldn't see. We had been traveling for 8 hours at that time, when it was only supposed to take around 5. But when you're on a bus and the bus makes stops, 2 hours turns to 3 hours,
And we also had to wait for the ferry because we didn't know it left at certain periods of time. So we took the 3 o'clock ferry. The next one would have been 6 o'clock. So we were there waiting for the ferry for about an hour and a half.
yeah. So lots of waiting in between. That's okay. Once we got here and we arrived, our Airbnb was not exactly what we were expecting, just like when we arrived in Hako, and we were like, oh, great.
We're definitely living pura vida here.
Yeah.
There's no AC. It's a little unsealed, so the bugs are coming in living with us.
It's a lot unsealed. The roof is not on the walls. There's windows and sliding glass doors, but there's gaps like this big in between them, and the bugs come in. So I don't know when the last time somebody stayed in here, if it was a day or 2 days, but before going to bed, I think I killed about 25 different species of bugs. And we're in a rainforest and I'm from Florida, so I'm not used to seeing 25 different species of bugs in like a couple of hours. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. It was even like the same thought process we had in Hako. We were like, oh crap, should we get a different place?
Yeah, but we decided not to because we went back down the mountain and went grocery shopping. And we felt so comfortable because there were so many brands that we could recognize. It's so funny that that's what made us feel comfortable, but we were like, oh my God, it's like an oasis right now. We got some groceries to take care of ourselves, hiked back up the hill, and were able to make ourselves dinner for the first time since being in Costa Rica. So that made us feel a little better. Then we went to bed and no bugs slept with us, and when we woke up there was no bugs around us. So it just seemed like they needed to clear out when we first arrived, and now that we're here, there's just like a few ants and things that are wandering
mosquitoes,
in.
wandering, flying insects and stuff. It rains a lot here in Costa Rica, and our first night when we went grocery shopping, it just started raining when we had our groceries. So, I mean, I had the heaviest bags with like watermelon and our juices and our drinks and all the heavier food stuff. So I'm sitting here with these really strong bags that they gave us, lugging them up the mountain. In the rain, in the dark, and then we got lost, actually. We weren't quite sure where we were on the side of the mountain for a minute, and had to kind of like place very faint memory markers of where we were.
So we just had to hike back up through the rain. We're completely drenched.
A short 400 meters up a steep hill with rain running down towards our feet, and mud, rocks, stones, and it's our way to our home every single day. And it rains, and then you just gotta deal with it with no car.
It was dark. We hadn't seen where we were. We're here for 3 days now, and on the way back up from the beach, I was like, oh, that's not it. We're not at the right place yet.
But I recognize it.
Yeah, so the first night was definitely tough. It wasn't impossible, but it's definitely different to not have your home sealed. And we're pretty much living in a shelter with a kitchen that has a bed and a shower that has warm water. One thing that's actually nice is in Hako, our water smelled like metal. Mm-hmm. It was disgusting. Here, it's coming out of a well. It's pure mountain water. It's really nice. You could drink it. I'm not gonna drink it, but I almost did our first night because I just felt so tired and dehydrated. Before we went down and got groceries, I was just kind of sipping on the water in the shower.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so once we woke up in the morning, it was such a nice view and very peaceful. I felt creative and inspired, and I got myself organized, and we got to our first day of working. Since we are digital nomads being out here, we do work online, so we have to be productive in the spaces that we're at, and here I felt a little productive, and so we got work done, we did what we needed to do, and then we wandered down the hill again and went to a restaurant that was very close by, and we got ourselves coffee and French fries.
So we came here for coffee, ended up getting coffee and French fries, and now we're working because we're trapped in the rain.
It was pretty good.
The waiter was laughing at us because he was like, what kind of combination is that? Coffee and French fries. It was amazing though. And that's where we posted our first YouTube video.
So now we've been in Santa Teresa for 3 days now, out of our 16-day stay. So we'll be in this shelter for 16 days.
Yes.
And we have everything we pretty much need. Right now we're sitting on a day bed, so it's our couch, and it looks out over at the ocean. So we have a beautiful ocean view, lots of birds of paradise, flowers, lots of tropical plants, palm trees with coconuts. It's super gorgeous. You know, there's lots and lots and lots of spiders. We have a cat. We have temporarily adopted him. His name is Stripes.
His name is Pura Vida,
Also known as Pura Vida.
also known as Stripes.
Yeah. He's got 2 names. And he comes and goes, and he does respond to Stripes. So I'm just saying, he might be a Stripes. Yeah, so today we took a walk down to the beach, and we walked down the coast. Made a loop through the city street that we're on right now. So we walked and saw hermit crabs. What's going on here? Saw some monkeys in the trees. But we heard them howling first, and I thought it was a jaguar or like some crazy big cat, and someone was over there already looking, so I'm like, it can't be that dangerous, right? And it just happened to be some monkeys sitting in the trees, big black monkeys. Saw some red squirrels.
They have huge balls.
Yeah, pretty long, massive ones. And the coast is beautiful and just lots of life out here. It's amazing how they can build structures and not disturb the wildlife that's around it, and still contain that same natural element to the land. So I see why they call it Pura Vida, which means pure living or pure life. They're just immersed with the land, so that's what we're living in right now, and walking out to the city center, or city street, because I don't think we were in the center. We saw lots of cute restaurants, lots of, it wasn't too commercialized like Taco. It's very nice and just serene.
The bar for happy hour.
No franchises at all.
Yeah.
All very local little restaurants, and it's so cute, honestly.
No pavement, dirt, muddy, rocky roads. Everyone's got a 4x4, four-wheeler vehicle, dirt bike. It's very different out here. And so I think we were out for maybe about 3 hours. Came back, made lunch.
I have my own personal chef.
Yep. Never has to cook for herself unless she chooses to.
Yeah, rare.
I think we're gonna put a video together of what our life looks like living here just on a daily basis. And
then we heard the trees rustling.
yeah.
And so we went outside and we saw about like 10, 15 little monkeys literally right behind us, right here.
Wow.
Oh, he stripes.
Jumping around and going, they were trying to go past, so they were just traveling through. But we saw this mama monkey that had a baby monkey on its back.
It's a big snow.
It was so amazing. It's awesome seeing all the life here. We just need to see a sloth now.
Yeah, and toucan.
Yes.
And go home happy.
Yeah.
Or just move on happy. Yeah. So this is where we're at. We're in Santa Teresa. We're on the side of a hill or a mountain, looking at the ocean. Lots of beautiful stuff around us. I'm sure there's lots of interesting people. We haven't been feeling too social, to be totally honest with you, because we have just been traveling and it's been exhausting. So, once we continue to acclimate here, I'm sure things will change, but that's just what's been going on.
Yep.